Um, I know I keep hearing this from people who like to twist the verses of the Quran and who like to, sometimes those who are involved in interfaith dialogue and bringing religions together, they even commonly use this phrase and they keep saying the three divine religions. And I emphasize to all my students at the university, there is no such thing. There is no such thing. One person cannot command a thing and its opposite simultaneously at the same time. Can I tell you, don't you drink milk? And meanwhile I command you, you have to drink a couple glasses of milk? I'll be insane. So for any person to claim that God, the same creator, the same maker, has ordered his people three different orders which are the opposite to each other. So he ordered them in one religion to worship him alone. And he commanded that he have not taken a child, he have not taken a spouse, lam yalid wa lam yulad, he begets not nor was he begotten. And no one is equivalent to him. But the same source commands that I've taken a child and I want you to worship him like myself exactly. Well, this is confusing. Then in a third command he says, this child is not mine and I want you to kill him. What are you going to say about that? If a COO, a company manager, gathers his employees and he gives them conflicting commands, they say this guy is insane. It's impossible to fulfill his command. So what did he command? Examine Surah Al-Anbiya. Examine Surah Al-A'raf. Every prophet he have sent with the same message, to worship Allah alone and not to associate partners to him in worship. Then in Surah Al-Bayyinah, Allah the Almighty says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ وَالْمُشْرِكِينَ Wow. في نار جهنم خالدين فيها أولئك هم شر البرية. Verily, those who have disbelieved of the people of the book. The book refers to all the divine books who have been revealed to their prospective prophets, whether the Torah to Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, or the Gospel to Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him. And he said, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ وَالْمُشْرِكِينَ. The term kafaru means disbelief. Disbelieved in what? Disbelieved in the message of Allah in those books. In those books. The Quran tells us about the message which was delivered in those books. And what happened? Some of those people have altered the message, disbelieved in the books. And that's why they were called kuffar. They were non-believers in their own books. Accordingly, because they disbelieved in their own books, they will be في نار جهنم خالدين فيها. And somebody will say, oh, wait a minute, so why are they still called Ahlul Kitab? We want to understand one thing, that Christianity is not one religion. There is Catholicism, there is Orthodox, there is Unitarians, there is Evangelists, there is this and this and that. And it is very interesting to understand that Catholics, for instance, believe that other denominations are kuffar. Do you know that? So they believe that Jews, Muslims, and even within Christianity, other denominations are non-believers. We're not upset. I'm not upset the least. As a matter of fact, I'm pleased to know that. Why? Because you cannot believe and disbelieve in the same thing simultaneously. You either believe in it or disbelieve in it. Either believe in it totally and you adopt it, or you reject it. You cannot be both at the same time. It's impossible. So those who believe in the oneness of God, they disbelieve in anything that ascribes to God or attributes to Him a child, a wife, or any traits of the humans. or make any creature similar to the Creator. That's why Allah the Almighty said, لَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ ثَالِثُ ثَلَاثَةٍ. That's it. لَقَدْ. In Arabic, it benefits at-tahqiq. For certain, absolutely, 100%, they have disbelieved whom? Those who said Allah is one of three. Okay? Another verse. لقد كفر الذين قالوا إن الله هو المسيح ابن مريم. And similarly, indeed, have disbelieved those who say that Allah is the same, Jesus the son of Mary. And while Jesus the son of Mary have commanded people to worship Allah and never say to his people that I'm the son of God or God himself. Okay. I can keep quoting verses and verses and verses in this regard. Bottom line is, it doesn't hurt anyone to be called a kafir in a faith that is different than his. Meanwhile, he is a believer. Jews are believers in their faith. Christians are believers. Catholics are believers in Catholicism. Unitarians are believers in their faith. Orthodox, evangelists, Hindus, Buddhists, they are believers in their faith because they believe in something. Guess what? Atheists are believers in whatever faith they adopted. They believe that there is no God. That's a belief. Okay? But to believe in the thing and its opposite simultaneously is impossible. So it is not possible to say, I am monotheistic while you believe that God has a son, or have taken a wife, or has partners. As far as why they were called the people of the book, because guess what? They happen to receive a book. We have received the Quran. Do you know what? In Islam, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam prophesied that there will be a deviant sect, deviant people who will claim that we only follow the Quran, and they will be called the people of the Quran, but they are not the people of the Quran. They call themselves Quraniyun. They say we only believe in the Quran. They don't take any hadith. Even the one who argue with them and say, would you please tell me how do you pray? How do you pray? Because the Quran doesn't teach you how to pray. The Quran doesn't tell you there is standing ruku' and sujood and you do this and you recite this adhkar and a certain number of rak'ahs and you make tasdeem and sujood sahw. None of that. It just says aqimu salata wa atu zakah. The Quran doesn't tell you the zakah rate and what is zakatable and what is not zakatable. It doesn't say about that, right? So the Sunnah is complementary. Is it because they call themselves the people of the Quran, they are believers? No, the Prophet ﷺ judged them as non-believers. So the name does not mean that they are believers before Allah the Almighty. In the hadith which you all know about how Muslims will follow the footsteps of the previous people of the book and they will be divided into 73 sects, deviant sects. There will only be one group who will remain steadfast on the straight path. Each group of those deviant sects claim that they are the saved party and they are on the straight path. It is not by your claim. It is rather actions speak louder than words. When a believer, a person who says La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, claims that a person who does not believe in La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah is still a believer and he will end up in paradise, he or she have chosen not to believe in Allah. This is how dangerous it is. I'd like to repeat myself. That's why some people want to say La ilaha illallah and the meaning of La ilaha illallah, and there is a book about La ilaha illallah. Say, why do you make things complicated? Everybody knows La ilaha illallah. No, you don't. Do you understand why the setup of the word began with a negation? You could have said, I believe in the oneness of God. That is not sufficient. You must say the phrase as is. We call it the kalima. Did you ask yourself why is it called the kalima? It consists of how many words? La ilaha illallah. That's 4. Muhammadun Rasulullah. That's many words, but we call it a kalima, one word. Because a kalima, you cannot eliminate any of its letters. It's indivisible. Each letter is inseparable from the word, otherwise the word would not make any sense. The meaning will be different. It may provide a different meaning. So La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah is one kalima. You must believe that number 1 negation, that's called takhliyah. I don't believe in any God, in any deity, illallah, except for one God, that is Allah, who is the only one who is worthy of worship. La ikraha fi ddin, there should not be any compulsion in religion. قد تبين الرشد من الغي فمن يكفر بالطاغوت ويؤمن بالله فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله سميع عليم. Did you see the order? Number 1, you must disbelieve in all the false deities. No one says, I believe in all religions and I believe in all God. That's an idiot. Then you don't believe in any. And obviously you don't believe in Allah. To believe in Allah, you must denounce any other deities. You must deny any other religions. Similarly, I don't feel any bad feeling when a non-Muslim says that you're a disbeliever. Oh yeah, you're right, I'm a disbeliever in your faith and in every other faith. وَبَرِئْنَا مِنْ كُلِّ دِينٍ يُخَالِفُ دِينَ الْإِسْلَامِ. I denounce, I deny, I reject any faith that contradicts my faith, which is Islam. إِنَّ الدِّينَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الْإِسْلَامِ. إِنَّ الدِّينَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الْإِسْلَامِ. The only deen that Allah the Almighty accepts is Islam. Our brothers and sisters who are unknowingly or even knowingly happen to get involved in these dialogues, and they convince people that all of us believe in the same God and all of us will end up in heaven. This is not true. قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا الذين ضل سعيهم في الحياة الدنيا وهم يحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا أولئك الذين كفروا بآيات ربهم ولقائه فحبطت أعمالهم فلا نقيم لهم يوم القيامة وزنا. First, in these 2 verses, actually there are 3. By the end of Surah Al-Kahf, Allah the Almighty says, shall we not tell you about the greatest losers in respect of deeds? Yeah, who are they? Those who want to say their effort was done in the wrong direction in the life of this world, while they were thinking that they were doing good. يحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا. They were worshipping, but in the wrong direction. They were worshipping the wrong God. Such people are those who disbelieved in the ayat of the Lord. What are the ayat? Those ayat which you recited right now, the book of Allah, the Quran, and His meaning. فَحَبِطَتْ أَعْمَالُهُمْ. So all their deeds are in vain. They have no weight on the day of judgment. Why? Because they rejected the true faith. Then by the end, in the last ayat 107 and 108, إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات كانت لهم جنات الفردوس نزلا. Okay, good, we know that those who believed and did good righteous deeds, the gardens of paradise will be their abode. Ya Allah, make us amongst them. Make all people amongst them. Make all people rightly guided. We pray for everyone. Why? I'd like to look into the last ayah of Surah Al-Kahf. فمن كان يرجو لقاء ربه فليعمل عملا صالحا ولا يشرك بعبادة ربه أحدا. Let whoever hopes to meet Allah the Almighty, okay, on the day of judgment with faith and enter paradise, let him do the following. فَمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو لِقَاءَ رَبِّهِ فَلْيَعْمَلْ. Let him do a good deed while not associating any in worship with Allah the Almighty. If you do all the good deeds that a person dreams of, but you're not doing this for Allah, then it's in vain. By the way, we even teach, the Prophet ﷺ teaches us as Muslims, if you do an act of worship while you are a Muslim and you say La ilaha illallah, but it was intended to please other than Allah the Almighty, it will be rejected. وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ حُنَفَاءَ وَيُقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَذَلِكَ دِينُ الْقَيِّمَةِ. This is what Allah the Almighty commanded us, to do these acts of worship with sincere devotion to Allah alone, and this is the upright religion. Then the Prophet ﷺ says into a hadith I would like to wrap it up with. Number one, أنا أغنى الشركاء عن الشرك. I'm the richest of all. If any person happen to associate with me any in worship, even in a simple practice, تركته وشركه. I'm not going to accept any of that, because it was not done with sincere devotion for me. It wasn't done for me, so I will reject it entirely. And the Prophet ﷺ said, I swear to Allah in whose hand is my soul, none of the people of the previous nations would hear of me and reject my faith and will still enter paradise. Rather, they shall enter the other place. So you either believe in your messenger and what he says, or you don't believe in that. Finally, brothers and sisters, in Islam, if you reject any message in the Quran, then the person is not a Muslim. You try to please people and compliment people and say we all believers, no matter what you worship. Linguistically, this is true. Legally, this is not true. Linguistically, every person believes in whatever. Okay? But legally, believers in what sense? You believe in the oneness of God, then you are a mu'min. You don't believe in the oneness of God, you don't believe in the message of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you have no right to compliment anyone and say that they are mu'min too.